It's Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. A lot to talk about today. Please comment down below. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Before we do start today, I want to make an announcement. I'm going to start putting some videos up over at Rumble. A lot of you have been asking me to put some stuff up on Rumble. I'm going to do that possibly tonight. I'll put a video up on Rumble. We can talk a little bit more freely there. We're going to talk a little bit more about security, protection, things of that nature. A lot of you have been asking me to put the range videos up over at Rumble. A lot of you enjoy those. I think we will do that. And maybe start talking about some exercises at the range everybody can be working on, some drills, things of that nature. And basically the Rumble channel, I think what I'm going to do is, if time allows me, is we're really going to talk about walking the walk. And I advise anybody making these type of videos that maybe you have something up on Rumble where you can actually really talk about how you're walking the walk, what you're doing, what your EDC is, and how you're actually really preparing, and maybe giving some of your advice on how people should be preparing and what their EDC should be, and maybe what kind of drills they should be running at the range, what kind of self-defense type of things they should be doing in their life daily, what kind of training. I think this is really, really important from this community. So if you're making these type of videos, I think it's really good that people see if you're walking the walk. And I'm doing the best I can to walk the walk. I could probably be doing more, but I think it's important. And I think that what I'm going to do over at Rumble is put videos up of walking the walk and how all of us should be training, how we should be more proficient in our security, from our homes to how we're training at the range, to how and what we're doing security-wise and self-defense-wise on the mats, in jiu-jitsu and things of that nature. So I'm going to try to get something up tonight. I think it's really, really important that we be doing that and sharing that with the community. And look, I'm not a professional by any means, but I'm going to share with you some of what I'm doing, and I think Rumble will be a good place for that. So look for that. I know a lot of you have been asking me for that, so I'm going to do that because I think it's important. But I want to get into a couple of these articles today right here on this channel on YouTube, where we really talk about economics and preparations of what's coming. Most Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency expense. This was on Fox Business today. 56% cannot come up with $1,000 for an emergency. 35% said they would have to borrow the money somehow to pay for it. Now, my question to all of you is, how in the world is the average American going to go out and buy a house if they don't even have $1,000 for an emergency? Think about that. How in the world are people going to go out and buy a house when they don't even have $1,000? Because, you know, we're going to keep hearing that, oh, more people are applying for a mortgage, even though more people are being denied for a mortgage. And that, you know, oh, mortgage rates are coming down. Although today on bankrate.com, they're sitting back above 7%, 7.03%. But if they went to 5%, who's going to be able to buy a house when nobody has any money? This does not add up, does it? Here's another one from CNN. Los Angeles Times slashes more than 20% of newsroom staff as the paper confronts a financial crisis. Welcome to reality, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen everywhere. The LA Times for years has been losing tens of millions of dollars. And when you burn through this much money, guess what? People are going to lose their jobs. They're in chaos right now. I would expect that many more people at the LA Times are going to lose their jobs. And at some point, there probably will be no more LA Times. They will not exist. And you know, a word of advice to all these outlets, just tell the truth. Start telling people the truth, and maybe this won't happen. But it's happening, and they're going to pay a big price here, as many people will lose their jobs. And I'm sure a lot of people that work at the LA Times own homes, have rent, have auto payments, have bills to pay. Well, it's going to be much more difficult now because they're losing their jobs. Wolfstreet.com, another online used car dealer bites the dust. Most of you already heard this. Vroom biting the dust, laying off most of its employees. Interesting data here. June 2020, its IPO spiked from $22 to $47.90, and then to $73.87, almost $74 by September. Today, just looked it up, it's 26 cents. 800 employees losing their jobs. It says here, with wholesale prices dropping and consumers no longer willing, and I say able, to just pay whatever, this is what happens. There's no more investor cash to burn through. The easy money days are over, and I don't see them coming back anytime soon. And so for Vroom, it is game over. Their stock today, 26 cents from $74 back in September of 2020, now 26 cents. Isn't that just unbelievable? So long, Vroom. To the employees, the 800 people losing their jobs, what's going to happen to them? What happens to those mortgages, those rent payments, the car payments? See, this is how fast things can happen in your life, ladies and gentlemen. Most people just never expected to lose a job. They think they're immune. And right now in 2024, if you haven't really been paying attention to what was happening in 2023, the job losses are going to continue to spiral out of control. They're going to skyrocket in 2024. And this is just another reminder. This just reinforces what you and I have been talking about for years. Here come the job losses, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable, but it's reality. Here's another one from wallstreet.com. D.R. Horton sheds some light on the massive cost of mortgage rate buydowns as hedge fund went awry. Stock tanks. If you looked at D.R. Horton stock today, it is down 15%. 15%. Starting early November, that huge rally on Wall Street driven by rate cut mania is fading a little. Mortgage rates have risen 30 basis points since late December. Bankrate.com, 7.03% for a 30-year. Profit margins on home sale revenue dropped by 220 basis points from the prior quarter. And so what's happening here with D.R. Horton, and I'm sure many of the new home builders, is, they've been doing these mortgage buydowns, and it's eating up profit margins. And when you're looking at 7.03%, and if you don't have great credit, you don't have a lot to put down, it's going to be higher than that. So D.R. Horton has to spend more to get those mortgage rates down for their potential buyers. So you're having to spend a lot more at 7% than if rates were at 5.5%, 6%. And it's cutting into profit margins. And again, we have a smaller pool of qualified buyers to buy homes today. Why is that? Because people's credit's being destroyed because they're late on the credit cards, they're late on the car payment, they have less money to put down. And so that's going to be a big problem, where you have people whose credit is being destroyed every day. They're not qualified. They have less cash to put down because they're eating through it. So how can they buy a home? How about this? You don't have a job. You don't qualify. Look at how many people on a daily basis are losing their jobs. And when you begin to look at, these smaller mom and pop businesses and small business in America, which is the backbone and comprise of about 70% of all jobs in America, we're not hearing about, the small business owner who has 20 or 30 or 50 employees or 100 employees that they're laying off half of their workforce. Or they have 10 employees and they have to let go of 5 or 6 or 7. We're not hearing about the little small mom and poppers. We're just hearing about the big boys. And they're laying off by the thousands. So it's going to be much more difficult for the average American to buy a home, and it's going to become very difficult for the average existing home seller to sell a home. I was just looking at properties today, and I'm looking at properties that have been on the market for a year and a half. 2 years, 9 months, 7 months, just sitting there. Again, it's a war of attrition. How long can the present homeowners or home sellers hold out, and how long can a home buyer hold out? Some people can hold out longer than others, sellers that is, but at some point, let's just say you own 5 Airbnbs and you're not renting them out. You may come to the conclusion that you're going to have to sell 2 of these homes to continue to afford the other 3. So you're going to have to let 2 go. Many people don't have a lot of money in the bank now, don't have a lot of savings, and they may be forced to sell their own home. A lot of things happening. And the short-term rental market, just like if you watched yesterday's video, if you didn't see it, check it out. But here in the Palm Springs area, with the new laws or new rules regarding short-term rentals, it's devastating the housing market in Palm Springs now. And a home that a year ago was bought for $1.5 million is now maybe going to get $1 million, just like that, just because of what the rules and laws that have changed in short-term rentals. So, this is going to happen to more areas. It's happening in New York City. It's happening in LA County. It's happening right out here in the desert. And people who bought a home solely just to rent out and basically be in the hotel business, their world has now been turned upside down. And many of these homes were $1 million plus. Now it's going to be very, very difficult to get out of these homes because nobody wants to buy them if they cannot rent them out. Your short has been rejected. Massive stock lending firm processing over $2 trillion in transactions goes dark in cyber attack, limiting short sales. This was very interesting. Bloomberg reports Equilend, a fintech that processes trillions of dollars of securities lending transactions every month, suffered a cybersecurity attack that shut down some of its operations just days after announcing its sale to a private equity firm. The company was at one time part owned by some of the world's biggest financial service companies before it was sold to a PE firm. Some of the companies that did own it: Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, BlackRock, and a list of others. This is concerning. It should concern everybody because, if you're trading, you have money in the market, you have money in a financial institution, it can be attacked. It can be taken. It can be lost. And we're going to see more of these cyber attacks take place. It's not saying who might be responsible here, but I'm sure a lot of people think that, one day they could turn on their computer, look at their balance, and it could all be gone. How do you get it back? How long till you get it back? Will you ever get it back? Remember, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And these are just purely digits on a screen. And it can disappear in the blink of an eye. And we all have to be aware of that. And I'm not saying that don't have any money in the bank, don't be invested in markets, don't have money on a computer. I would just say that I would probably have a majority of my money outside of all of this, because if your money is on a screen, if it's accessible electronically, it can disappear. And there are some nefarious players out there now. We have no idea who they are. They could be from here, they can be from there, they can be from anywhere in the world. And just think that if you woke up one day and you could not get your money, but think about just what happened here in the amount of losses just in trading that took place here. It's really unbelievable. But people just don't believe anything can ever happen to them. Just think, if you could not use your computer for a week, you could not access bank accounts, you could not access investments, your money markets, your retirement. I mean, it would literally turn people's worlds upside down. So I'm not telling anybody to be 100% out of this. I think you should be extremely diversified, but make sure you have something you can get to, something physical. Simplicity is going to mean something down the road here. The lights go out, the system goes down. Simple things like cash, silver, some gold. It's going to be very, very valuable, ladies and gentlemen. Netflix shares pop 10% as streamer adds 13.1 million subscribers, tops revenue estimates. I bring this up today because this is great news. I'm sure people need some great news, but think about this. How many more people are just sitting on a couch watching Netflix, watching movies, their brain decaying, when they should be out doing something? Out there exercising, out there training, out there working on security, out there working on fundamentals, just working on self-defense. But no, 13.1 million subscribers were added during the fourth quarter, and they're paying $6.99 to $22.99 per month for all this. We've got 40 million people watching a football game. We've got millions of people subscribing to Netflix, and these people more than likely have no idea what's really happening in the real world. They're in fantasy land. They fantasize about, people running around with a football. They fantasize about, being on one of these Netflix shows or a movie. People just don't want to face reality. Some do, some don't. And the people who live in a Netflix world, these will be the people knocking at your door. These will be the people in need. These will be the people that panic. These will be the people who are scared. These are the people now who lash out and say, you don't need gold or silver or cash or training. Nothing's ever going to happen. The stock market's going up. So remember, the stock market is benefiting the top 10%, not the bottom 90. It's benefiting especially the top 1%. Most people are not in the stock market. The top 10% of this nation benefit and own 93% of the wealth on Wall Street, in the stock market. And the top 1% benefit most of that, own most of that wealth. So the average person who's just trying to live day to day, paycheck to paycheck, they could care less. They're not really being affected by this. What they are being affected by is inflation. What they're being affected by is their purchasing power. So the people out there who have time for Netflix and the money for Netflix, I really pray, I hope that some of you will wake up and take your $6.99 or your $22.99 a month and put it into something more productive. Put your money where it counts. Stop giving it to these groups and organizations that hate you, who are going to use your money against you. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Especially not even the money, but the time that people sit there and watch this garbage on television and just allow their brains to decay and watch this garbage, and even worse, let their kids watch this garbage. What's your time worth? My time is worth a lot more than sitting in front of a screen, giving my time to Netflix and letting my brain deteriorate. Chipotle wants to hire 19,000 workers for busy spring season, will offer new financial perks. So here's some more good news. You can now have a career at Chipotle. What is really sad are these jobs. Most of these jobs that are part-time, low wage, have no ladder of going anywhere, right? You're not going to go up the ladder at most of these jobs and have a career at Chipotle. Maybe you can become a manager, I guess, but most people are never going to go up the ladder and have a career at any of these service sector jobs. And these jobs were never meant to be a career. I think most people don't understand that today because so many people work these jobs and are forced to work these jobs that this is now their new career. And we're going to be told that look at all these jobs that are out there. Yeah, they're at places like Chipotle. I was at a restaurant the other day. I forgot where it was. And I think it was Jersey Mike's. I like Jersey Mike's. I cannot believe how many people now deliver food for a living. They come in and they pick up somebody's lunch and they go drop it off. There must have been 4 different drivers in a 15, 20-minute span that came in to pick up a bag of Jersey Mike's to go deliver for lunch. That's people's new career, delivering other people's food while they're at home watching Netflix or a football game. And people have gotten so lazy they can't even go pick up their own food. They got to have it delivered. And of course, it goes on a credit card or a buy now, pay later plan. People are financing their Jersey Mike's lunch. That's how bad it is right now. But this is the great news. You're going to see 19,000 jobs added to the economy where people are making tacos and burritos, working part-time, making $12, $15. Here in California, you'll make $20. But $20 an hour in California today is nothing. So the answer is, the way we fight inflation now is we're just going to pay more people more money in the service sector, and so that's going to fight inflation. But what it's actually doing is causing more inflation, because now when you go to a Chipotle, when you go to a Jersey Mike's, when you go to a fast food restaurant or any restaurant, you're going to pay more because labor costs are exploding. So you're going to continue to pay more to eat food at a restaurant because they've got to pay people more money. So this whole thing's spiraling out of control. It will continue to get worse, but they're going to try to slice and dice it and tell you everything's great. We're adding more jobs, more people are working, wages are going up. Yes, you're making, $12 an hour, $15 an hour, at a restaurant where you used to make less, but you're going to have to pay more at the grocery store. You're going to pay more at the pump. You're going to pay more when you go out to eat. You're going to pay more for services. This whole thing is just out of control, and it's going to continue to get much worse. TheEconomicCollapse.com. I'm going to finish with this last article here. How can anyone possibly claim that the U.S. economy is doing well with all this going on? Sales of previously owned homes in December 2023 were 6.2% lower than December of 2022. Sales of previously owned homes in 2023 were the lowest we have seen in 28 years. The number of people falling behind on their credit card bills increased in 49 of the 50 states in 2023. Large layoff announcements, they're going to continue to pile up. They're going to skyrocket. Macy's, Google, Sports Illustrated, the LA Times, Wayfair, Vroom, and the list goes on. It's going to continue to spiral out of control. The article goes on to say, watch the derivative market. It's going to become a very hot topic. We haven't heard about it for a while. A couple years ago, we heard a lot about it, but we haven't heard about it very much. We're going to hear more about it. We're in more trouble, it says right here, than most people realize. And I say this in closing. If you don't believe we're in trouble, if you believe everything's going to be okay, keep investing in the stock market. Keep living life. Don't save any money. Keep running up debt. Buy a house. Buy a car. Do what your heart desires. I wish you the best. Myself personally, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to sit back, wait it out, continue to build up the war chest, cash, gold, silver, continue to have no debt, continue to live way below my means, and I mean way below my means, and I'm going to continue to exercise patience, because I believe we're in very, very big trouble. I think things are much worse than most people do realize. But again, if you believe everything's okay, keep investing, keep spending, keep running up debt, keep buying cars, buy a house, do what your heart desires. That's up to you. And maybe you're right. You could be 100% right. But if you're wrong, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. I think we got a long way to go here. My advice is sit back, wait it out, keep building up the war chest, pay very, very close attention to what's happening here, continue to watch the warning signs. I'm going to leave it there today. Make sure to come over, check out the Rumble channel. God bless every one of you. Stay safe. Pray for this country. This country needs a miracle. 2024 is going to be absolutely nuts. Again, stay safe. I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.